Welcome to the Selling in the Motor Trade podcast, in association with Simco Training. This is the weekly podcast where we share best practice, tips and ideas on how to sell more cars, improve your service department, and generally put more profit into your dealership or dealer group. I'm your host, Simon Bogert. Now, some of you probably already know me as Skippy. I want to start by saying thank you for taking the time to listen to this podcast. So, okay, I want to ask a question. I'm going to dip my toe in the water. Okay, we're going to start using AI. I want to get, what are some of the, I don't know, the pitfalls? What are some of the gotchas there? Because listen, if I'm a head of business, a dealer, general manager, I think I'm going to take all my accounts now, Will. I'm going to upload it into ChatGPT. Okay, I'm going to ask it to take all my customers, upload all my customers' details there, and just say, how do I improve this business? What gotchas have we got with data protection there? What guardrails do I have to put up?
That is a very pertinent and very long question. So I'm going to unpack a couple of parts of that very quickly. All those are concerns. They all should be looked at. Two things from that very quickly. I think we all fall a little bit too much into the AI hype. There's AI, we need AI to be proficient. You don't. What you need are processes, and AI are part of those processes. So I think first and foremost, when someone's starting to dip their toes into the water for AI, making a decision on what AI to use should be done just like you do anything else. Look at the pain points. Look at your internal, look at your external pain points, figure out what it is you're trying to solve, look at the process from there, and then where AI can fit in that process. In most instances, AI is going to be an integral part of it. From there, you need to go and approach the people that do. Look, all of us at the level that we're at are not the actual doers. We are not the ones on the floor. We are not the ones selling the cars, servicing the cars. We're not the ones creating the ad copy. They need to be the ones that have bought in on this. They're the ones interacting with the AI. It needs to come from them. So get them involved with it. Here's where let's just take a look at one of the best use cases for AI right now, which is after hours response to a customer.
Yep.
I mean, during COVID, we all got so programmed to getting what we want immediately, whether it was going on television, getting immediately, going to Amazon, getting immediately, going to a website, finding out information from the car immediately. And then for lead response, they've done all this work. They put in a lead response from the car. No one answers it to the next morning when they're back in. And an AI can provide that instant engagement. Well, that's great. Someone's engaged. Now what? I mean, we solved the engagement problem, but what did that solve? I mean, the answer should be it should drive them down to a sales consultant so you can get the visit, so you can see what type of people we are, so we can start the relationship to be lifetime customers. A lot of people look at it from the start and then they start failing as they go through. And the first thing they can say is, well, we tried AI, we don't like it.
Yeah.
Or we tried the metaverse and that was a failure. But there's the pitfalls are expecting AI to be a set and forget, and it's not. It's an integral part of the process. It is fantastic. It's a team member, but that is what it is, and it has to be overseen just like any other team member would be. And then the second part that I would really like to address is the data part of it. Yeah. And that is concerning. We're all regulated to a very high degree, and rightly so. We see all of this protected non-private information. When you're running something as simple as your quick wins, when we're running this information through an AI, the things that should go immediately to people's minds is no personal information goes in there. It can just be John Doe for the customer's name, Jane Doe for the customer's name. It can just be vehicle for the type of vehicle. None of that information should go in there because you don't have that customer's consent to share their information with this ChatGPT, this Claude, this Gemini. Now, when we bring in a third-party company, AI, and you've signed all these data agreements with them, now we have permissible business reasons to use it. But a personal one, you do not. And many people that are using AI are using their own personal accounts for AI and not a business account for AI. And now you're sharing things completely outside of it. So that's why we actually stopped and built an AI usage policy that all employees have signed off on. And we've had trainings on this. This is things that can, these are things that cannot. But two of the biggest pitfalls, of course, is going to be the data. And then looking at AI as something magical, something more than it really is. AI is wonderful, but it has to be treated just like a teammate or a part of the process. What you want has to be identified. AI should be part of the answer, but AI is never the answer.
It's interesting you talk about we can have like voice AI. It's getting better and better, and we were both at the conference, and it's like I'm speaking at Techion, and their systems is Techion as a DMS is cleaning up, and we've actually got Jay coming on the podcast soon. I'm very excited to speak to him about what they're doing, but it just blows my mind where voice AI and you're having the conversation and it's almost too good. But my nervousness is because it's too good, when it gets passed over to the human, do actually does the human take it on in the same vein, the same thought process? It's almost like I think maybe sometimes people would prefer to know they're speaking to an AI agent because we all do now. Okay, and it's I'd like to get your view on this, Will. If you're looking at voice AI, is it do you want it to so people think it's just one of your employees, or would you prefer it to say, "Hey, I'm one of the AI agents here at Proctor. I'm here. How can I help you if you call?" I think people would almost prefer that, wouldn't they?
I most certainly would prefer it. If I'm speaking
Yeah.
to an AI, I want to know it's an AI. And
Yes.
AI is used so prevalently now, I don't see a problem with that at all.
No.
Our AI lead responders, we have branded as virtual assistants
Yeah.
and online assistants. I mean, that right there, you could make the reasonable inference that this is not a real person.
Yeah.
And the way we've trained our sales consultants is you've been chatting with our virtual or online assistant, Jessica.
Yep.
I am so and so here, and we'll be working in concert to help you. You can certainly talk to either one of us. But yes, that I don't really think you should ever try to fool somebody into thinking AI is a real person.
Yeah.
I think it comes off as disingenuous, can lead to problems down the road.
Yeah, which brings up the conversation that we're all going to be out of jobs next month, okay? Because our BDC, our Business Development Center for people in Europe, the stateside Business Development Center is call centers for dealerships there. There's lots of people saying, "Hey, you won't need that anymore." There's so many systems out there like Impel. There are a Podium. I won't go through all of them there. Are they really going to replace us, or are they just going to make, um, I don't know, make the job more efficient?
Yeah,
I,
it's a simple formula, and Will shared something before the call, but it's a simple formula. If you're using these tools to build up your team's productivity, that's going to get them time back. And if they get that time back, then they can actually lean into their actual subject matter expertise to make the customer experience at the store in one way or the other better, which then should improve the business overall. So if you think about it that way, um, it's about how right now how people are using it because you couldn't possibly gut and leave that up. Like I know there's some dealers that are thinking about what things can we build, but they're also learning that by building um, by building things the right way, it's actually opening up opportunities to hire in more people. Will, you kind of talked about that earlier before we got on the podcast.
Yeah.
I don't think that Simon is going to be replaced by an AI. I don't think that podcasters are going to be replaced by AI podcasters. I don't think that sales consultants are going to be replaced by an AI selling tool. I do think that people that cannot use AI efficiently and effectively in their job tasks will be replaced by people that can.
Mm.
So is AI going to take your job? No. But AI is going to take your job if you don't know how to use it in the form of someone who does.
Yeah, that is so
Yeah.
true.
Well, technology evolves with or without us, right? It has
Yeah.
no feelings, it has no empathy for things. So it's just a matter of like how do we adopt it and use it. But if we do it right, you're actually going to open up more opportunities and actually potentially grow your business.
Yeah, yeah, and again in history, the machines come along and replace horses, and it's gone
Sure.
on and on and on. So someone told me 120 years ago, the second or third biggest industry in the world was whaling, because of course we needed whale oil to the oil for to burn lights and all
Yeah.
sort of stuff.
And
And
now I use AI for all of my whaling, so I don't even have to go out anymore. I have whaling
save the
agents that
whales.
just go out.
I
Yeah,
love
yeah. No, don't save them at all. I just use AI. Go get all the whales
it. Get them
because
all.
four whales 17 years ago owed me money, and ever since then I've had a deep-seated, almost Moby Dick-like vendetta
So
against
this brings me on
whales.
seamlessly to AI
Yeah,
makes shit
segue
up. AI makes shit up sometimes. Okay.
all the time.
So how do we make sure it is accurate? Because we've heard this, people. I'm in dealerships and they say, yes, but I asked about this V6 engine and AI thought it was a V8 and it's a load of crap. It'll never work. Okay. How do I make sure that the information I get from AI is as accurate as it can be?
RIPE framework.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So AI, when it's doing research tasks, when it's going and searching and going to give you an answer, is searching the same thing we would have. The internet is just doing it in a much quicker, more efficient fashion than us. Great story for you.
Mhm.
We had an AI chat bubble on one of our websites.
Mhm.
And this AI chat bubble, when someone asked a question, it was about how to do something with their car, connective service with the car, put one of our customers to, are you familiar with Rickrolling? What Rickrolling is?
No.
A phenomenon here in the United States. It's an old song by Rick Astley. And whenever someone would ask a question, instead of giving the answer, this video would just
I'd
pop
never
up.
give you. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, AI goes and searches the most likely places it can. And it for some reason, it leans awfully hard on certain websites like Reddit and other ones.
Mhm.
And some people found this out. So they started answering questions by just referring people to this one YouTube where it was just Rickrolling. And the AI searched, this was the quickest answer it found. It popped the answer back to the customer and told our customer, here's a website where you can go to find out exactly how to do that. Customer clicks on it and boom, a guy pops up singing a song called Rickrolling. And it fortunately, the customer had a good sense of humor. They thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
But AI is going to say, without a doubt, I am stating this is true because I found it here on the internet.
Yeah.
And we all know the internet's 100% true, but if you use good,
Oh.
right frameworking, giving it those,
Yeah.
as Brent said, exclusions of
Hmm.
where not to go, you are much more likely to get an answer that is factual, especially if you can direct it where to go.
Yeah, even when you direct something where it should go. So even if you're directing it at an OEM website, like only go to, Honda USA or, Mercedes-Benz UK, wherever you're sending it, like you have to be very specific. I only want these details. I want these year models. I want this information. I want these trims. Because even when you do that, Will and I both say like there's got to be human in the loop, that you've got to rehumanize your AI. So no matter what it spits out, you still should go back because it's giving you all this time by doing all the heavy lifting for you. It should give you time to actually go back and look at what it's giving you. You should physically go back and just do some double checks. Like some people go, oh no, ask the AI if everything is correct. No, physically go do it because
Yeah.
I share this with every workshop I give and every workshop I do. My partner Lisa used to be a bureaucratic government and comms. You have to triple and quadruple check everything because you're writing speeches, you're writing press releases, you're doing all this stuff. And now as a long form writer, she'll go like, give me this research from these years. It's got to be peer reviewed. It's got to come from hospital databases only, or these publications. And she says, even though she's gone through and using like the deep research and a heavier account and a bit more firepower to do this, she still says like she'll still pick something out where at the 11th hour she goes like when she's going through her own like she still writes like she's still actually a human being that still writes stuff, but she that's AI's job for her is research so she can write, but she still will pick through and she will always sniff out. Even then, even if she's gone with a heavy prompt to like go, here are the details, here's my parameters, do not go outside of that, she'll still find the odd little
Yep.
wrinkle of something that's actually factually correct or not found at all.
But should we have an issue with that? Because I know Will's never had a salesperson, okay, that made something up speaking to a customer on the spot. Okay.
Yeah.
That's never ever happened there. And I'm
Of
not sure
course it's happening. Yeah, of course it's
about
happening. It's just acting like we do. We talk out our asses all the time, right?
okay.
And we don't back it up. We're like, wait a second, I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna talk some bullshit and then
No, no, no,
I'm
Brian.
gonna figure
We're
it out.
verbose and loquacious.
Oh, all right. So use the big words at
Use
the
the
end of the podcast.
but using the big words there though, Will, this is can you talk us through about you've got a tech savvy online experience, okay, and we've catfished our customers if we're not careful when they turn up physically. Run us through what you mean by that, because it's you've hit the nail on the head for me before we started recording the podcast on this.
That was something I was really worried about when we were implementing some better efficiencies with the use of AI for online experience. It's very easy to create a good online experience. It is very easy to create a good UX. All you have to do is really look at Amazon or some of the other big boys out there and you can create a very good UX for your websites for your customers virtually before they come in.
Yeah.
Problem is that once that really good UX is done online and they come in, if you haven't been able to back that up with just as good of an experience that first experience they gained online is just out the window now. You've come across like bumbling idiots, and it's harder to do than we imagined it would be. So you go online, you look at the vehicle, you find the vehicle you like, you're able to get a price online, and not just the sticker. You're able to get an actual sale price online.
Yep.
You're able to give it some information, find out what a payment's going to look like, approximately what your trade's going to be, and you're able to do it all within about a minute and a half.
Yeah.
And you're done. And then you walk in, and in a perfect world, you walk in, you walk by the front desk checks you in. The sales consultant is now able to see exactly what you have done. He's able to walk out with a piece of paper in hand or an iPad in hand. Here's where we left off. I'll have this vehicle right up front, and we can explore this one as well, and we can move from there. That sounds great, and that's what we envisioned.
Yep.
But then the person shows up, and they get out, and they start walking over to the car. And then a different sales consultant that wasn't the one that saw all their stuff online walks over to them. And they're like, hey there, folks, how can I assist you? And you're like, well, my name's Simon, and I'm interested in blah, blah, blah. Oh, great. We have this, this, and this. And by the way, and it just never goes quite like that.
Yeah.
So what we needed to find was a way to get all of that information that everyone's done online immediately visible to everybody, no matter where they were on the lot. And because there's always going to be some type of breakdowns, elevate the level of our experience. When you're sitting and waiting for something, if there is something else going on, you never think you're waiting. But everybody just be quiet for 5 seconds. That's rather painful.
Yeah.
Brent, if you wouldn't mind, say something for 5 seconds.
If I talk for 5 seconds on why talking for 5 seconds is important.
See, it doesn't even seem like 5 seconds went by when he does that. So what we found out, as long as we upped the experience when someone came in, if we had them busy doing something while we access that information, that whole catfishing type experience went away. But it is something that has to be looked at whenever you're implementing something, because it is so easy to do online. It is so hard to follow it up in the store, not because you don't have excellent processes and not because you don't have excellent people. You have both of them. It's just the potential for breakdown is so much more when it's not just you and a computer interface. There's so many more uppers at play. So get the information in front of your sales consultants quickly or your service advisors quickly. Have some type of recognition. This is going to be great for service. I mean, with IFR and all the chips in cars, some type of recognition service, you immediately know they're there. You can see the information on the screen. You walk up, hi, Simon, I'm here to address the concerns you had when you talked to our online assistant, blah, blah, blah. It's fantastic.
That's where we're going to wow people.
Yes, that is the way you're going to wow people, because now it's a seamless experience all the way through. So it's really falls down to the same thing everything else does: blocking and tackling, the speed and accessibility of information, and good training. And if you do that, you wind up not catfishing your people. But so many times I have seen this is a nice, bright, shiny tool that does a great job online. You implement it, and it does such a good job online. But you're not following it up in the store because you concentrated on the experience online and not the entirety of the experience.
How difficult is it, Will, now, as a dealer out there, to look at all these different vendors and picking the right AI? We said before the AI buzzword and after sales we call it in Europe. So the service, the fixed operation side of it. There's so many different products out there, from videos out there where the technicians create the videos for them. You've got a situation where the service advisor, there's one called Tom, where the AI would phone the customer up to do the MPI vehicle health check, upsell call. Then you've got Techion just wants to. Where do you start evaluating not just the hundreds of out there, and again, absolute hundreds, but how many hundreds are coming through, all doing the same thing? And also, how quickly is the one that's working today going to be obsolete in 6 months down the track? From a dealer's point of view, where do you start evaluating these companies?
Well, Simon, I would say with the proprietary prompt that Brent Wees helped build for everybody at ADA would be a fantastic place to start. That would be great. That is an excellent question. And the answer to it is forget that it's all AI. And forget that you even need any of it. And you shouldn't be looking at a single AI tool until you've identified what it is you're trying to solve.
Great advice.
And once you've identified what it is you're trying to solve, then you look at it. For us, when we looked at it, what we were trying to solve was our experience online. We wanted it to be quicker, more efficient, more seamless. So we looked at that, and then And then we identified different AI companies that did it with using a prompt similar to the one that Brent had, nowhere near as good as his. Mine only scored a 23. He scored a full 25 on the index. But once we're able to do that, then we're able to go through and we look for vendors that seem to match our corporate philosophy and our corporate culture more. And we went from there. But I think a lot of the times we get blinded by, oh, I need this. This is going to increase my conversions by 3%, and that's great. But if the conversions weren't the problem, if the problem was the actual closing, not the conversion, you haven't solved anything. You've just given yourself more conversions to not close.
Yeah.
So once you've looked at your pain points and what you know where you need the efficiency, where you can take a lift, then you look at what can solve it, and you look at where AI can fit into that process. Because if you don't have the key, and if you don't have the process, the AI will help, but it's going to help magnify all the other problems.
Yeah, to Will's point, like I was, small store in Northern Ontario here in Canada, a Honda store, and they were, looking at like a system that was going to do calls and book all these appointments. But they didn't need that. That's actually at the time, that's not like they didn't have a problem working their own phones just because of location and size of the town they were in. That wasn't something, but like all the stores were like, it'll do all this calling, it'll do all that stuff. And it's like, that's not right now. Like to Will's point about what's the business need right now, something that could use assistance to just get that engine a little bit more tuned. But and like we said, it goes back to what we did at NADA. There's a way to prompt, and if you connect with me on LinkedIn, I'll send anyone who listens to the podcast. I'll send you that prompt that Will and I built and presented, how to turn it into an agent, because that's part of using AI to figure out what AI you need.
Yeah, I love it. So is there anything
a really good, very quickly, just a really good example of it, not to harp on the same subject, but coming out of COVID, we had a hard time getting cars. And we had a program, this was pre-AI, but there's AI programs that do this now, that would prospect out of your service department. Just about all dealerships have it.
Yep.
And we were using it very efficiently, but we were getting people excited about the ability to trade out of a car, and then we didn't have a car to get for them. We were getting very excited, and then there was other dealerships that had the cars. Again, great tool, worked fantastically, but it wasn't what we needed. We found out what we needed was a way, we're very strong when someone walks in the door, building the relationship and moving the deal forward, putting them into the after sales portion of it. What we needed was some way to engage more of our leads quicker to drive them into visits. And once we identified that, we looked at where in that would AI fit into it. And for us, it fit into an after hours response because we're open during regular business hours, but most people are online after dinner. And they're searching for this after dinner. So they submit a lead after dinner at 8 or 9 o'clock at night. And we didn't see that big of an uptick. We were expecting a 3% uptick in conversions from leads to visit. We didn't. We saw 1.7. But if you take 1.7% of 1,000 leads, now you're at 17 leads. And if you can close those at 33%, you're now talking about 4.5 more cars per month. But if we had just said, no, let's do a lead response and decided to turn it on from when we started the day to when we ended the day, we wouldn't have got there. We identified that it was after hours. So it's really about identification and filling that in. And by the way, if you're selling 4.5 more cars and you can build that up more and more, now you need another sales consultant. So AI's added a job.
Yeah, love that. Brent, can I ask you, is there anything that you've seen in dealerships that's really wowed you? Because you're in this space all the time. That's wowed you. Thought, wow, I didn't think that AI could actually do something like that. What's the last time
the thing that's wowing me really is what the dealers, some forward-thinking dealers, are building rather than what they're using from the vendors. Sorry, what they're building, what they're trying to think about building. So one of the things is, there's some out there, like I said, and it's a small group, and that's okay because most dealers and most people are in the shallow end of the pool. But I know of a store, and they're working on something where it's like, they're running an agent overnight. It flags the ROs that the service manager missed. It catches discount patterns before they become a fraud problem, and then they brief the team before they walk the floor in the morning. So this is something that this one store has built because they have a very forward-thinking sort of AI engineer, operations engineer. He didn't come into this from automotive. He's not from that world. He's actually from a different industry. But it's just interesting what he built. But the story about that is that like when a dealer hears that, they're like, yeah, I want to build that. Like, let's build it right now. And there's this, there's this tale that's been kind of told by the vendors and also by the AI companies about how fast you can build and scale all this wonderful stuff. But that's taken him like like what was it, 6 weeks or 6 months to build? Like 6 months, 6 months of just sort of pushing the idea around, sitting down, mapping it out. What can it look like? How's it supposed to be built? Learning that technology. And when he was sharing this at a 20 group that I was educating, he was saying that it was like a lot of my own time after work at night, like with a
Yeah.
lot of coffee and a lot of late nights, figuring out how to build this enterprise. But it's something that they have built. But it's just like, let's build this one thing to see what we can build on our own to help us become more efficient. It's one piece. They're not trying to, like, not everything's a moonshot, but he's taken enough time to go, I've built something that's really big, but
Mm.
it's taken 6 months. It hasn't taken inside of 5 days or 4 days or an afternoon playing with Lovable or Codex and ChatGPT or Claude Code. This is something that needs a lot of time and a lot of thinking. So the takeaway is that's how I've seen something really cool.
Mm.
And you're going to see the dealers figure out who are their moat vendors, but they're going to start to, over time, start building out the boring stuff all by themselves.
Mm. Yeah. And the flip side of it, Will, what part of a dealership's operations will AI never replace? Or maybe not in the foreseeable future?
Relationships. We have our dealership motto is in the people business, and that starts from the top down. And it means first and foremost our internal people, our external people, our customers, the community, all of the above. And it's built on relationships. AI will never connect like Brent and I have connected.
Mm.
A and I would never sit here and chat like you and I are chatting because it's relationship. We're humans.
Yeah.
And humans, especially when you go into something as complex as a car purchase, I mean, an AI has no problem selling a $3 widget, but we're talking, $60 to $80,000, or I guess that would be 70 to 90,000 pound automobiles. Those are built on relationships, and they will never replace the relationship aspect of it. It'll never replace the handshake of the service advisor when they're talking about what's going on with the car. They will never replace the sincerity of a finance manager or Brent's humor in person. AI is never going to take the relationship part out of it. I think that sales jobs you will see impacted by AI because of the efficiency it affords, but I don't think you'll ever see the jobs for sales be going away. And make no mistake, every position in a dealership is a sales position, whether that's a service advisor, all the way through a greeter, all the way through a general manager. They're all sales positions, and sales is relationships, and relationships is just not AI.
Yeah. It's that relationships. I'm still worried about the whales now because
Yeah, the AI is not going to get rid of those goddamn whales, but I'm going to. You watch.
Going to that.
You watch me and my chat
All right,
GPT.
Ahab. Guys, I've
This is
really enjoyed this.
against whales.
I just looked at the time. I can't believe how long I've actually chatted on here. So it's thank you so much for your time. Listen, for both of you now, what people listen to this. So you've got dealer owners, managers, service folks, salespeople. What's one actual thing they can take away from listening to this podcast you'd want them to go back to do so they can thank themselves in the future? Where would you want them to go back and start now? Will, where would you urge them to go back and do?
Two things. Remember RIPE framework.
Mm.
It is fantastic, and it will help guide you in anything you do with AI and a lot of the other parts of the business as well. But role, information, parameters, exclusions, examples. The other part is to dip your toes in AI, to really just start feeling how it can help you. Identify one repetitive task. Just identify one repetitive task, whether that's emails going out after hours, whether that's, as Brent said, going over and finding out certain trends. Ask AI how to help you build an agent on that. Run the agent and see what conclusions it can come to, what recommendations it can make. Just test the waters just doing that. Build your familiarity with it. And then when it comes to outside vendors on AI, just identify your pain points and apply that when you're looking into it. And Simon, I've really enjoyed being here. It was a pleasure talking to you today.
Great advice.
Yep.
Great advice, that one. And Brent, anything you'd like to leave?
Just the thing to remember is that these tools aren't magic and they're not smarter than us. The science behind this is regenerate or re-engineer the thinking down. All the subject matter expertise that is going to make these tools work really, really well is in your work experience, your people managing experience, your automotive product experience. It's all upstairs. So older listeners that are 40 plus or 45 plus, a lot of people think, well, I'm getting too old to use this stuff and it's a kid's tool, right? Like I sat down with GM dealers in Manhattan that were all over the age of 55. And by the end of our time together, we had, they understood the framework prompting, they understood how to build agents, and their deep knowledge of all the time they've been in. That's like to Will said earlier, it's a new employee, but you've got to re-engineer how you think and drop it in. They aren't going to have the knowledge in the foundation of time and energy you've got on the floor at these dealerships. That's the secret sauce.
That's brilliant. Guys, how do people find you? How do they reach out to you? Because it's, I know lots of people going to listen to this. And Brent, firstly, what's the easiest way for people to reach you? Is it through LinkedIn?
Well, you're not going to find me if I'm hiding really well. But no, best place to find me is find me on LinkedIn. That's honestly the best place. I do a Saturday morning newsletter that goes out where I update the things that have happened on the platforms just from a productivity standpoint. I don't get into the deals and the money and the valuations. It's just what have they added to the platforms every week that you can, for sales, marketing, and C-suite, how they can employ that. I put a prompt of the week that's written in Ripe, put a couple nerd notes in to just kind of explain a couple of things that are in the newsletter. But LinkedIn is the best place to get a hold of me.
And listen, we'll do some links to that too in the show notes of this as well, so people can reach out and get that. I'm sure they'd love that. And we'll get hold of you. I know other dealers might want to talk to you about what you've actually done as well. What's the easiest way for people to reach out to you?
Oh, just LinkedIn, absolutely. And Brent's release once per week on LinkedIn, it's amazing. He undersold it there. It really boils everything down to here's the newest, here's what you can use, here's why it's important. It's fantastic. So anybody that has not yet searched out Brent on LinkedIn, check out and subscribe. That's actually a really neat tip. And I look forward to that release every week. But
maybe we'll figure something with Simon. We'll get over to his neck of the woods and do what we did in Vegas.
I also have this really cool thing called a phone, and most people just call me on it.
Yes, that's it. Well, listen,
you can drop our mobiles in there.
Guys, I got to tell you, that's one of the things I come home from your conference. I was using Text Expander, quick codes to do so many returable passes until these guys said, your iPhone does that. And it's like, no, I never knew it did that. I've been using the Text Expander app now for the last 4 weeks. No, probably 6 years there, but it went down swoop. So I love that. Guys, this has been absolutely great. So thank you very much for your time. I really do appreciate it.
Thanks for hanging out.
Thanks. That just leaves me to say that all details of this episode and other episodes on the selling in the motor trade can be found on our website, simcotraining.co.uk. Go there to get a copy of our book, Words That Sell Cars. Go there to sign up to a free trial of our Sales Fitness online sales training program. Easiest way to get hold of me is Simon Bokert through LinkedIn. Thank you.